What's good, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by DistroKid. They are the go-to for digital music distribution and the easiest way for musicians to get their music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, and more. They offer unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their earnings, getting your music onto platforms and into stores 10 to 20 times faster than any other distributor. They help with cover song clearance, automatic splits, and they offer all kinds of tools and templates to help you get the most visibility for your releases. I dig this company and appreciate their business model that offers more features and tools than any other distributor while doing it at the most affordable price for solo artists, bands, DJs, studio artists, and any other creators that are making music or producing music in their home, and they offer label services as well. They've got 3 different tiers that they offer to creators that start as low as $22.99 a year. That's just $1.92 a month. And even their top tier is only $7.50 per month. And the best part about DistroKid sponsoring the podcast is they are offering Dan Cable Presents listeners 30% off their first year of service with DistroKid, making their affordable prices even cheaper for you. I will put that discount link in the episode notes. It will also be in my Instagram bio. Big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this podcast for more than 3 years now. Much appreciated. Now let's get into the episode.
Looking down at the corner
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Cable Presents podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the program once again. You can find fresh episodes usually coming at you every week, every Tuesday, but in the case of this fall, it is every other week, as I have been on tour since about September 6th. Spent about 2 weeks out on the road with Veronica Swift and her band. That was a great run of shows. Mostly all on the East Coast, and then it ended in Chicago, where I spent a couple days before I hit the road for a week with the band Say She She, which was really cool. I saw Say She She play at Pickathon last year, and I have been following them ever since and kind of keeping up with them, and an opportunity came that they needed somebody to go on the road with them. I had the opportunity to do a show with them at the Gorge in Washington about a month ago. They opened for Dave Matthews, and the Gorge is just this legendary amphitheater. I think it's the biggest one in the United States. It holds like 27,000 people. I had been wanting to go there just for a show for a long time, and I had never made it, so it was really special to get to go there under those conditions and just kind of see behind the scenes of something so massive. Dave Matthews does 3 days usually for Labor Day weekend. It's kind of his big thing for the year, so it was just really cool, and really enjoyed spending that day with Say She She. So I was excited that I got to do like a full run of shows with them for about a week out on the East Coast as well. We did the Iron Blossom Festival, was the wrap to that tour in Richmond, Virginia. Great festival. My favorite set of that run of shows with them for sure. And right after them, Nathaniel Rateliff played on the main stage, and that was really cool. I've seen Rateliff a few times. This particular time was with the Night Sweats, who I've seen him play with I think 3 times now, and I've seen at least 1 or 2 solo sets as well. So it was really cool to catch a few songs of that after Say She She played, and just really cool to have the opportunity to work with some bands that I listen to regularly, and also really embarrassing when I'm driving the van and the algorithm just puts them on without me choosing to put that music on. And I'm just like, oh, well, this is on now in the van. And I wasn't lying about being a fan of the music. So that was rad. I know they just did a couple weekends at Austin City Limits, which I think was probably pretty amazing. I think they did... I think they came out and did a song with Karongbin as well, which is really cool. So, I was home for just a few days in Portland at the end of September before jumping on the road with Noah and Abby Gunderson, which is who I'm out with right now, currently in Fairfield, Connecticut. We've been on the road for about 2 weeks. We have another week or so of this run of shows, and then home for another week at the end of October and hit the road with them again on the West Coast for about 2 weeks in November. But this has been a particularly special run of shows, getting to see Abby and Noah play this stripped down set every single night, and I'm just singing along at the merch table. They're doing a 10-year anniversary tour for their first full-length record, which is called Ledges, a record I love, and they're playing some other tunes in the set as well. But it's just been unreal to just get to be out with them every single night. Noah's just one of my favorite songwriters of all time, and a dude I've been following for the last 10 years. And Abby is just this incredible singer and violin player, keys player, just incredible musician. And it's been really sweet to get to know the both of them through this tour. I've had Noah Gunderson on the podcast a couple times over the years. Last time was probably about 3 years ago when Pillar of Salt record came out, and that was the first time we got to link up in person. But I don't know, I feel like I always had some kind of sense that he was a really good dude, and this tour has proved that to be true to me. I feel like I had some sort of sense of it, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to take this tour when it was offered to me. But it's just been so special to get to know them both and get to hear this music every night is really cool. And I just couldn't have imagined that things would have unfolded this way. You know, this wasn't necessarily something I was planning to do or trying to throw my name in the hat for, but it just kind of came my way through knowing some particular folks. And in my podcast studio back in Portland, if you are a regular viewer, I have 4 full-size posters in the background, and one of them is a Say She one, and one of them is a Noah Gunderson one. There's also like a Raylan Baxter and a Father John Misty one up there, but I didn't put those up there knowing that I would have the opportunity to work with both of those bands on the road, like in this capacity. And it's a little surreal still to me that it's happened and it's happening, and it's just something I'm super grateful for. And we've just been having a really great time on this particular tour. It's just the 3 of us traveling around. Sorry, I don't know where to look. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm filming this on my iPhone, and it's I don't know where to look. Okay, so if I'm not looking in the correct spot, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best here in this hotel room setup to make this happen. But we've just been having a really great time out here, and we just left Portland, Maine. We were there for a couple days. Portland, Maine was probably the spot I was most excited to go to on this tour. I was supposed to go to Portland, Maine on a tour last year, and it was the one show that ended up getting canceled because we had bus issues and couldn't make it there. So I was pumped to find out that we had not only a show in Portland, Maine, but a day off before, and had 2 incredible meals, one at Eventide, which they also have one of those in Boston. Went to Eventide, had the most incredible lobster roll of my goddamn life on the fluffiest of rolls, just a perfect amount of lobster, not overdone, beautifully seasoned, and just incredible. We had some oysters over there, and maybe the best clam chowder that I have had as well. And then we went to this place, Essential Provisions, for dinner that night. Just this small plate spot. I finally had some tartare that I enjoyed. We had some venison tartare that night, and just some other amazing food. So just very cool to experience the road and eat some good food with these people, and then get the reward of seeing them play this music that I love so much every single night. And it just even 2 weeks in is not getting old at all, and it's been really cool to meet Noah's fans at the merch table. There's a lot of diehards out there, and just like a lot of really kind people, and it's been cool getting to hear some of their stories.
I've done some damage. I've cut the road so you're free. I got a lot of good friends keeping me distracted, keeping my sanity safe. Here I stand on the edge of the ledges I've made, looking for a steady hand. Here I stand in the lane for the rocks and valleys, trying to be a better man for
What else has been going on out here? I got to go to the New Jersey Devils Toronto Maple Leafs game in New Jersey. My first time to the Prudential Center there in New Jersey. We had a night off the day before our New York show. We were just standing across the river in Secaucus, and I saw that there was a Devils game. And if you follow this podcast regularly, or you know me, I'm a huge hockey fan, huge fan of the NHL. I don't care who's playing. I'm trying to go to all of the arenas in the league, and that night was my opportunity to do so. Went on a little solo adventure to the New Jersey Devils game. I think that was the second time I'd ever been to a pro sporting event, specifically a hockey game. I definitely went to an LA Kings game by myself one time, and yeah, it was really nice. I'm really glad I did it. I would say the building itself was pretty underwhelming, but it was fun to see what New Jersey Devils fans' culture was like and all of their chants. They ended up losing to the Maple Leafs that night. They were pretty bummed, as expected. But yeah, just fun to be in an NHL arena at the opening of the season. It was their home opener, so people were pretty fired up, and it was really exciting. As a big fan of Marty Brodeur, one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. That was where he played almost his entire career, and got to see the statue out front and some of the memorabilia that was in the arena. It was cool to get to be there. It's definitely different being on the East Coast for a hockey game in a city like that, but overall, as somebody that's been to a lot of West Coast hockey games, a lot of LA Kings games, I would say that I was not blown away by the hockey fandom necessarily in New Jersey, other than like almost every single person being in a jersey, which is exciting. The only other East Coast-ish building I've been to, I know some of you don't consider Pittsburgh to be quite East Coast because it doesn't really sit on the coast, but it's in the time zone, okay, and it's close enough. But I got to go to a Penguins Rangers game, playoff game, like 2 seasons ago, and that was unreal. Obviously, that's different because it was the playoffs. You expect it to be a rowdier building, but overall, a little underwhelmed by the Prudential Center itself, just kind of this square box, and not that exciting of a place necessarily. But yeah, the New York show was really great. Conquered another driving adventure in New York, which I think is really just continues to increase my confidence every time I go into that city and drive. I think it felt really daunting to me the first time or two, and I would maybe like try to pass the keys to somebody else that was driving on past trips in that city. But the past few times I have done it, and it has been great for my confidence in driving in that city, and just feeling like I could have a handle on it. And honestly, it really feels like you're in a video game. I think driving around New York City, and there's a big part of me that actually likes it in some way. I think I like the challenge. It is so lawless in that New York, New Jersey area as far as the driving. I think when people they talk about LA traffic, it's and the driving in LA, it's so much different than the East Coast stuff, because in New York and in the surrounding areas of like New Jersey, people just make their own lanes. They will drive wherever they need to get in there, and it's psychotic. It is absolutely insane, and a part of me is starting to really enjoy it and understand it, I guess, to some degree. So great experience once again. New York City, just unlike any other place. Didn't really have a whole lot of time to actually hang out in the city this time. We were just kind of in that block or two of Brooklyn for the time that I was over there, since I decided to go to that Devils game. No regrets there. And now I'm here in Fairfield, Connecticut at my Hilton Garden Inn hotel, just making as many tuna sandwich videos as I can out on the road here, which so far on this particular stretch of shows, I have not had a lights out tuna sandwich, anything above an 8, I feel like, in close to a month, and I am in need of something good. Part of that is just circumstance and proximity. I've tried a couple chains, which those will come out soon. If you are not hip to my Tuna Boys series, I started reviewing tuna sandwiches like, it's crazy to say, like 2 years ago. Maybe it's just like a year and a half, but I've definitely done over 50 sandwiches. A lot of them are Portland, Oregon based, where I live, which makes sense. But since I've been doing so much touring, I've been trying to get out and about and try a tuna in a lot of the cities that we're going to. So I've been pretty successful in doing so. I think like 3 of them have dropped since I started my travels back in September. And there's definitely been some notable ones, some very good ones. But on this particular stretch, since I started touring with Noah, Nashville, complete miss for tuna. And the other ones, I've just kind of gotten, trapped into doing a couple of the chains. Like I did the Panera Bread one, and today I did the Nardelli's Grinder place, which is a Connecticut chain of sandwich shops, and also just very fine. So I'm hoping when I go to Albany, New York tomorrow, cute little town, great little town there in Albany, which is near Lark Hall. I was there a few weeks ago with Say She, and I get to go back with Noah tomorrow, and I feel like I can find a good sandwich over there in Albany. I'm determined to find a great sandwich in Albany. So I will report back. The Tuna Boy stuff is something I definitely want to talk about on this episode, because it's been a big part of my life somehow the last year. And for about the last 6 months, first of all, if you don't know much about it, I'm just reviewing tuna sandwiches pretty much wherever I go. And people seem to really enjoy it, and I love it. It's so fun for me. I've been super enjoying editing the videos, and it's kind of taught me video editing to some degree, or at least the knowledge I have is all from making those Tuna Boy videos. I'm just using CapCut. It's very simple and intuitive, and having a lot of fun trying to like find things to insert in there, pop culture things and just references to things that I really love when it's called for, when the timing is right, or maybe sometimes when it's not. Maybe it's just, maybe I think it's funny and nobody else does. But yeah, it's been really fun making all those videos. And one of my favorite things about it is that I have so many people following it that don't like tuna sandwiches. I know it's like an incredibly polarizing sandwich, and a lot of people don't fuck with it, but they enjoy watching the videos. And I know they're kind of like rooting for a good tuna, or maybe they're rooting for a bad one, because those are often some of the best videos, you know. Maybe you get a sandwich, and a tuna sandwich, and it's got like 4 full-size hard-boiled eggs on it. Addie's Sandwich Bar in Portland. I don't know why you did that. That was an awful move. But about a year ago, I made this really ridiculous voice memo recording that I call the Tuna Boy Manifest. And I had this idea that it would be fun to go around Portland, Oregon, and pick maybe 4 or 5 of my favorite Portland spots for tuna and shoot like a fully produced episode. I'm a big fan of Somebody Feed Phil, that TV series, as well as Action Bronson's Fuck That's Delicious. I would say those are the 2 big inspirations for the Tuna Boy full episodes. And just kind of had this idea that it'd be great to, you know, pick a few spots, go in, interview the people that own the spots and talk to them about their process and get to know them a bit. So this Tuna Boy Manifest is just me kind of like talking through that and what I think the show could be. And when I did my review of Sandwich there in Portland, one of my favorite sandwich shops in the city of Portland, Oregon, Mel, the owner and head chef over there, she was like, do you want to see how the tuna is made? And I was like, yeah, but is it cool if I bring a camera crew and we shoot kind of this fully produced episode of Tuna Boy? And she was super down. She's been on Chopped before and featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, so she was just very up for it and very natural on camera. And it was such a cool day to go over there and film at Sandwich. And I didn't know how hands-on I would get to be, and she let me make the tuna alongside her and just kind of see how that process happens. And I was fortunate enough to tell my buddy Forrest Brennan, who's just been such a big help with all things video over like the last decade with the podcast and some other things. And we've just gotten to work on some other projects at Pickathon together. And I was telling him about this, and he was like, man, I'll help shoot this, and I bet I can find a couple other people to volunteer to do it. So we got this dude Jim Stanek, who's an amazing camera operator and just has a great eye for things and kind of knows what needs to be done to put something like this together. And then we got this dude Nick Jamison, who was our secondary camera, and then Rachel Bracker came on as the editor and really gave this thing its shape, because we definitely like filmed some really cool stuff, but I think we weren't quite sure how the story of it would all come together. And she just had the vision for the narration that's accompanied some of the shots. But we've been working on that. I think we filmed it back in March, and we've been working on the editing and the color correction and all the stuff to bring it together for about the last 6 months when people had free time to do so. And it just came out better than I could have ever expected, and each version just seemed to get more dialed in. So I am really, really excited that it is dropping on October 18th on the Primetime Cable YouTube channel, which was formerly the Dan Cable Presents YouTube channel. It has been now changed to primetime cable, and that's where the podcast episodes will live, as well as some of this Tuna Boy content. So you can find the first official Tuna Boy episode shot at Sandwich on October 18th. That's tomorrow, and it's about 10 minutes long. So I encourage you to check it out, and just really amazing to see something like that come together, and kind of something I just like put out into the world that I wanted to see happen, and for it to actually be complete and done. And we had this like really fun premiere party right before I left on this tour about 3 weeks ago at Sandwich. We premiered it in front of like 50 family and friends, and got to do it on site where we made this thing. Was really special, and just to like tell people about it, and yeah, just couldn't have imagined that it would come out the way that it did, and couldn't be more thankful for the people that helped me make it, because I could not have done this on my own. I do not have the understanding or the capacity for film in that that realm of things to know what we would have needed to put together something like that, or the shots that we needed, or the editing that went into it, or just their ideas really made it special. And the podcast for me is so DIY, and I do almost, if not all of this by myself, the editing, the hosting of the interviews, the booking, and making the clips for Instagram and all that stuff is just like 100% me. So it was so fun to get to do something that was a little more collaborative, especially something that I don't have as much knowledge in, because I was able to just bring my idea and then just trust the other people in the room and their ideas of what we needed to actually make it happen. And maybe even some of the things that I thought were a little goofier that I pushed back against and was like, I don't think I want that in there. And they're like, no, leave it in. It's good. It's good. And those are like moments that I think have been impactful, and just there are things that happen within that collaboration process that would not happen with just me on my own, and just kind of their dedication to this thing. Like, we went out for a day to film at like my favorite lake in Washington, just to get fun intro material and kind of B-roll. And I'm like in the water with floaties, and I'm jumping off the shoulders of my buddy Forrest trying to launch me, and just like everybody's dedication, like he's in the water with his camera and goggles, like fully in this water, not at a very warm temperature. And yeah, their ideas really, I think, made this thing what it is, like truly a collaborative project that, I cannot thank them all enough for bringing my idea to life, and them volunteering their time to do it. Everybody that was involved in this volunteered their time. Nobody got paid for it. They were just all excited about doing it, and I think that also made it really sweet. And I was fortunate to have my buddy Jonas, aka Love Jones, and my buddy Spencer, aka Spinach, two of my favorite beat makers, producers in the city of Portland, who have both been on the podcast before. They both contributed tracks to this thing, and which makes it just kind of this 100% celebration of Portland culture. And it's a Portland film production company. It's a Portland restaurant that we are featuring, Portland music, and myself. And just, yeah, it's crazy that I've been living in this city for almost 12 years now. And I talked about this a bit at the premiere party for this first episode, but moving to Portland 12 years ago or so, and kind of chasing after things that I thought would be fun, or things I believed in, the city of Portland has really given me the space to create the life that I have dreamt about. And it's pretty unreal to me, the amount of community I have in that city, and especially the amount of touring I've done in the last few years. It's always really nice to come back to Portland, Oregon. And I, at this point in my life, cannot imagine living anywhere else. I don't know what opportunity would pull me away from that being my home. I'm not saying it's not possible, but just really grateful for the people that have surrounded me there, that have been encouraging, and having these like fuck yeah people in your life to help you make things, and not really questioning it, but just trying to figure out how to help you facilitate those things has been really special. And this goofy Tuna Boy series that I had no intention of starting through Instagram has somehow become one of the things that is giving me like the most joy, and one of the coolest creative outlets I have ever had. So it's really special to get to share this thing with everybody. So I hope you will tap in and check it out. And if you live in Portland, can't encourage you enough to go over to Sandwich there and get yourself, even if you don't like tuna sandwiches, all of their sandwiches are great at Sandwich. So they really crush it. And got to give a big thanks to Mel, who was so down to let me jump in that kitchen, and she was so supportive and stoked about what we were doing. I remember just showing her like the initial drafts of it, and how excited she was also made me stoked and like proud of it. And yeah, it's just nice when you make something with a group of people and everybody is so stoked about it. And that premiere party was I couldn't have imagined that it would have been so fun. And it was, for me personally, such a cool crossing of paths with so many different eras of my life in Portland, from like people I met at the first restaurant I worked at when I moved up there, to having some family members there, and then current friends, old childhood friends, and then also the rest of the crew's people there, and some of Mel's friends. It was, and some of the staff at Sandwich. It was just a really special night that I will remember for a long time. I just, leaving that party that night, I just kept thinking to myself, like, how fucking cool is this? So I know this is not music related at all, but it's definitely something that's been happening in my life and has become really important to me. And just can't encourage you enough to, if you've got an idea brewing in your head, chase it down, pursue it. And if you need people to help you do it, find those people that are going to help bring your ideas to life, and see what happens. There might be 100 views for this video when it's all said and done, and I really don't care. It was so cool to make. And Forrest is the one that I feel like, maybe it was Rachel as well on the Tuna Boy crew, put my name as director, and I kind of felt weird about that at first. I just like didn't really see myself necessarily as director. But Forrest and I also made this short film maybe 6 or 7 years ago about one of my favorite Portland bands at the time, called Tribe Mars, and this was just like another go at this thing. And I just really love doing things like this, and I hope I get to make more. And it's one of my favorite things about these people I'm working with on it. They're all just excited about trying to make episode 2, 3, and 4, and we're trying to figure out what those are. So hopefully there will be more. It's really great to make some of these things that are not just me talking to people in conversation. I still love having these podcast conversations, but something special about making these kind of like short films is there's so much more that goes into it, I guess, and so much so many options that you have. You don't have to nail everything within one conversation. You know, things can go back and be shot again, or you can always add what you need. And I think that makes it just such a different creative process for myself.
Other way.
Other way.
There you go.
Like so?
Yep. So then what we do after we get it out is we let it cool and then we crumble it by hand. Do you want to get some gloves and crumble some?
Sure.
This way, Tuna Boy, you can say you did all the shit here at Sandwich to make your tuna sandwich you're gonna eat today.
And also, I hope this kind of sparks maybe bringing some different people on the podcast too, and not just, you know, talking music, but maybe talking to some of these restaurant owners as I get deeper into the food game, or talking to like some people in film production and people making films and directing or editors and things of that nature. Just the creative process is exciting to me and inspiring to me. So I think we'll see some of those conversations in the future with the podcast as well. And I hope everybody's doing well out there. Really appreciate the support for everything I'm doing. And before I jump off the mics, I just want to shout out a couple projects that I've really been enjoying lately. One of them, former guest of the podcast and the only person that's ever hosted an episode of the podcast, the host of episode 400, the retrospective with myself, my friend Ayal, aka Saroon, just put out this beautiful short film to go along with his new Clouds and Lo-Fi EP. I got to watch it for the first time last night. It runs about 7 minutes, and just the vision combined with the music. If you get the chance to just like watch it, I mean, listen to the record on its own, and it's very cool as well, and just love Ayal's mind for music. But to like see it with the visuals was pretty impactful and powerful. Also, my friend Isabeau, who I usually don't shut up about on this podcast, her new record, Heavyweight, drops October 25th. I'm very excited for everybody to finally hear this record. I've been listening to it for what feels like the last year and kind of like living in these songs, and got to be a part of the entire recording process. It was a very special time in my life with some very special people. And there's 4 tracks available from that record now, but the full record comes out on October 25th. If you're in Portland, Oregon, there's an album release show at the Showdown on December 7th. And Isabeau will be on the podcast. That'll be the next actual like featured conversation on the cast. We recorded it right before we both left on our separate tours, and we're not going to see each other for a while, so we knocked it out last month in that like 5 days that I was home before I jumped on this tour. So I'm excited to share that with everybody. I really enjoyed our chat on the mics, as I always enjoy our conversations. And other than that, really been loving the MJ Lenderman record. Got to chat with MJ last year at Pickathon, and he was just an incredibly sweet dude. And I think his new record is really amazing. Been geeking on that one pretty hard. And then Noah put me onto this ML Bush record called Sun Tub, and that record kind of blew my mind and sent me down a rabbit hole of some other things. And then I've been listening to this Tape Loops record from Chris Walla that Abby put me onto while we've been out on tour, and that's also been just really nice for sending emails, just this instrumental record to have playing in the background. So check those out if you get some time. I'll put a new playlist out pretty soon. I know I missed the September playlist, so I guess I'm on to October and a little behind on that, but I've got some songs I've been listening to, and I'll put a new playlist on Spotify as soon as possible. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Be well, and stoked to get back to Portland in a week or so, and to play the episode out, this tour diary. I want to play the newest single from Isabeau's new record, Heavyweight. The track is called All My Friends Think I'm Okay, And that is available wherever you stream music and soon to be available on vinyl. And I will put all the links for all of these things. The link to the YouTube channel. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're already tapped into the YouTube channel. You can find that Tuna Boy video there. And I'll put links for Saroon's beautiful short film there as well. And also links for Isabeau's music. And that's it. It's a program. That's the Jelly Jams. And we will catch you on the flip side. Portland, Connecticut. Nardelli's Grinder Sandwich Shop. Wherever you're listening from. Appreciate you all.
Could it be my torn will? Do I hold myself stronger than I am? I don't blame them. Still, it's confusing. My eyes will every time